Is that me?
There's a moment when something stops feeling random and starts feeling like it's meant for you. You don't understand it yet, but it already feels like you could. In Project Hail Mary, there's a scene where fear disappears before understanding arrives. That's not how this is supposed to work. In most first contact scenes, information reduces fear. You learn what something is, and that makes it less threatening. Here, the order is reversed. The scene creates a feeling of understanding first, and everything that follows changes because of it. It does this through limitation. You don't get a clear image of the alien right away. You get partial views, incomplete shapes, movement that resolves just enough to feel intentional, but not enough to be fully known. And that distinction matters more than it might seem, because randomness produces fear. When something moves without pattern, the brain treats it as a threat. But the moment it moves with even a hint of consistency, something shifts. The brain stops preparing for danger and starts trying to decode.
You want me to go back in my ship?
That shift is driven by timing. Rocky's movement has rhythm. It appears, repositions, occupies space in ways that feels repeated rather than arbitrary. And once repetition is detected, even without understanding, the unknown stops feeling chaotic. Structure, even incomplete structure, pulls us closer instead of pushing us away. This is where the scene breaks from tradition. In something like Alien, the creature is frightening because it's unpredictable. The lack of pattern makes it impossible to anticipate. Here, the opposite is true. The alien is introduced through pattern, not disruption. We aren't repelled, we're drawn in. The scene creates the illusion of interaction before any communication actually exists. Observe, respond, react. That rhythm mirrors conversation. Nothing has been said, but the scene is already behaving like dialogue. And once something feels like dialogue, it stops feeling like an object and starts feeling like a presence. This is the scene's most important transition. The alien stops being something that is simply there and becomes something that is participating. Participation implies agency, and agency is what we associate with other minds. We don't need to understand something to believe that it has intention. We just need it to respond in a way that suggests awareness. Instead of the usual sequence with fear, then understanding, the scene introduced something in between: recognition. Not recognition of what the alien is, but recognition that it can be understood. And quietly, without announcement, that's enough to change everything. Because it doesn't just exist here. Arrival builds its entire premise on the same idea. The aliens produce symbols that are circular, abstract, almost decorative. There's no shared reference point, no immediate understanding. And yet, over time, those symbols begin to feel intentional. Not because we understand them, but because they repeat. The characters start treating those shapes as language, long before they can translate them. Because consistency alone implies a system. They don't start with understanding and arrive at meaning. They start with pattern, and meaning follows. That's exactly what's happening in Project Hail Mary, just through behavior instead of visual language. Movement repeats, responses align, timing becomes predictable. The pattern feels intentional before they're fully understood, and that's all it takes. But here's the strange part. Both scenes are doing something more unsettling than showing us how to understand something alien. They're showing us how quickly we're willing to believe something understands us, even if it doesn't. Because humans don't just detect patterns, we assign meaning to them. The moment something behaves in a way that looks intentional, we treat it as if it is. Not because we've proven it, but because we're built to resolve uncertainty like that. We don't wait for confirmation, we move forward with interpretation. And here's what that implies. If responsiveness is what makes something feel like a mind, then actual understanding might not be required at all. In this scene, the alien doesn't become less unknown. It becomes more readable. And readability, it turns out, is enough.
No, I'm sorry!
We don't need to know what something is before we start trusting it. We just need it to behave in a way that fits a pattern we recognize. It's the same instinct that makes us feel understood by systems that respond to us, whether they understand us or not. The moment something answers back, we start filling in the rest: intention, awareness, emotion. Not because they're there, but because the structure suggests they could be. By the time the scene progresses, Rocky is no longer perceived as a threat. It's perceived as something that can engage. And once that possibility exists, the category of alien starts to dissolve. Not because the alien has changed, but because our framework for interpreting it has. That's what makes this scene feel so human. Not that the alien becomes like us, but because the interaction becomes mutual. This scene suggests that humanity isn't defined by biology or appearance. It's defined by participation in a shared system of meaning. And that system doesn't require language or full understanding. It just requires structure. What this scene is really saying is that human isn't something we discover. It's something we decide. We don't trust things because we understand them. We trust them because they respond. And once they do, we'll do the rest.